Guys, do not forget to hit that subscribe button for the latest in boxing and raw opinions. So, Tyson Fury, the former unified heavyweight champion of the world, the quote-unquote Gypsy King, as he calls himself, he claims that Anthony Joshua is a laughingstock. He's an laughingstock to British boxing. In other words, he's an embarrassment to the British boxing, to the history of British fighters, British champion fighters. My question to Tyson Fury is how? How exactly is Anthony Joshua a laughingstock to British fighters or to the UK in general? How is he a laughingstock? I don't know what kind of drugs Tyson Fury is currently on, but I suspect he's on the type of drug that makes him blind to the truth. That really makes him blind to the truth. Because Anthony Joshua has done nothing but do what a true champion is supposed to do and fight legit heavyweights and stay active and stay in shape and stay relevant and defend his world titles. Something that you never did, Tyson Fury. That is what Anthony Joshua is currently doing. It is not Anthony Joshua's fault that Deontay Wilder does not or refuses to take a $15 million payday to unify with him. It is not Anthony Joshua's fault that Deontay Wilder thinks that he deserves a 50-50 split with Anthony Joshua. What is it with all these Anthony Joshua haters always blaming Anthony Joshua for this fight between Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder not being made? Because that's what Tyson Fury sometimes to me comes across as a guy that is a Deontay Wilder fanboy, because him and a lot of Deontay Wilder fanboys act alike. They always act as if it's Joshua's fault. It's Joshua's fault. It's Joshua's fault. This kind of reminds me of the fanboys of Deontay Wilder. Every time a fighter doesn't fight Deontay Wilder, it's always the other guy's fault. It's never Deontay Wilder's fault. The reason this fight didn't happen is because this guy ducked Deontay Wilder. Every top heavyweight who has not fought Wilder, that is the excuse that is made for Wilder to protect him by his fans, is that it wasn't Wilder's fault. No, it was his opponent. He was just too afraid. Tyson Fury has the same type of mindset. Blaming Joshua, so he calls him a laughingstock, saying that this fight between Wilder and Joshua didn't happen because Joshua didn't have the balls to fight Wilder, but he somehow has the balls to fight Wilder, right? The reason Tyson Fury wants to fight Wilder right now is because, first of all, he might be broke. He hasn't got a proper paycheck since he beat Vladimir Klitschko back in 2015. And of course, like I said in the previous video, this is going to be easy. The reason it's so easy for you, Tyson Fury, the reason it's so easy for you to get a fight between Deontay Wilder is because, guess what, buddy? Deontay Wilder's taking advantage of you. He knows that you are rusty. He knows that you have been inactive. He knows that you have had drug problems. He knows you've gained a lot of weight. He knows that you have been through a lot in these last 3 years, so he's taking full advantage of you because he thinks he's gonna fight a weak version of you, an easier version of you. That's why it was so easy for Deontay Wilder to accept this fight with you, Tyson Fury. That's why. It's not the case with other heavyweights like Vladimir Klitschko, like Anthony Joshua, like Dillian White. Wilder didn't want to fight these guys. And he's making it so difficult to get a fight with these guys because these guys are actually relevant. They're actually active. And he knows they're dangerous. So he's trying to do whatever he can to make as much money as possible to get out of these fights because he knows he might lose against these guys. So he's trying to price himself out of these fights. That's why he's asking for these massive paydays. Again, I don't understand how Joshua is a laughingstock to British fighters. He's doing what any champion should be doing. He's been defending his belts against legit contenders. He's been constantly fighting. He hasn't been taking 2-3 years off. He hasn't been on drugs. He hasn't been gaining 85 pounds in 2 years. Alright? I understand you're frustrated. You're frustrated. Maybe you feel like everyone's against you. Maybe you're angry at the media. Maybe you're angry at the sanctioning bodies for stripping you from your titles. But that's not Joshua's fault. It is not his fault what happened to your boxing career. It is not Anthony Joshua's fault that you got stripped from your belts, that you got banned from boxing. Joshua has no control over that. But you seem to be angry and jealous that Joshua is now in a position that he's where you were back in November 2015. And you're angry that a lot of people are now considering him the true champion. But again, it is not his fault that you got stripped from your belts. It's not Joshua's fault. So stop looking at Joshua like Joshua is getting this, credit for being the world heavyweight champion, but he never fought you, and he's basically a fake champion, the quote-unquote fake champion, and the real champion is yourself. I understand you didn't lose your belts to Joshua, but guess what, homie? It's not his fault what happened to your career. It's not, even if Joshua wasn't around, another heavyweight who was, let's say Wilder was around, and let's say Joshua wasn't around, Wilder would have probably fought for your vacant titles, and he would have all your belts. Or any other heavyweight. Or maybe Dillian White. If he was, able to fight for a vacant belt, he would have one of your belts. It wouldn't be their fault that you got stripped. So you need to stop blaming these other champions and stop being jealous. Because that's what you are. You're jealous and you're envious that these other fighters are now being called champions when they never beat you. But again, it's not their fault. You need to stop blaming them and just focus on getting yourself in shape. Getting yourself in your best shape you could possibly can be, and then trying revenge, and get back your belts. But again, it is not their fault that you got stripped. So stop blaming them. Stop blaming these other champions.